Hi, this is Tammy Thornton from Wilton Go Green. I'm also the chair of our Zero Waste Schools Coalition. Our coalition was formed to create a platform for schools in Connecticut and beyond to connect, learn, and share waste, introduce or enhance programming to reduce waste in our schools. And I'm excited today to start our kind of student leadership segments where we're talking to teens across the state and hearing their stories of how they are looking to enhance this mission in their schools. So today we're starting with Brianna from Trumbull High School. So Brianna, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. I'm Brianna, and I'm gonna talk to you about the composting program that I helped start at Trumbull High School. So, first, a little bit about me. I'm a senior at Trumbull High School, and I'm really passionate about environmental advocacy. I always say that climate change is the most pressing issue we're facing today, and so I really want to do everything I can to help our planet and in turn each other because we only have one Earth, so it's really important. I'm also studying environmental policy in college, so it's definitely a huge passion of mine. So I also wanted to share a little bit about how I've been involved in environmental advocacy throughout high school. So freshman year, I started Trumbull Sustainable Youth, to give my town's youth opportunities to get involved in their community and make Trumbull a more sustainable town. So through that group, we have organized trash cleanups, volunteered at our town's monthly recycling drive, coordinated a fundraiser for a local housing authority for food and grocery store gift cards, and advocated for environmental legislation on our social media. And I've also worked with the Connecticut League of Conservation Voters, which is a nonprofit organization. And I've worked with them on legislation initiatives, tabled at some Earth Day events with them, poll standing to advocate for early voting bills, um, and then also submitting my own written and oral testimony for certain bills. And then the last organization is the Environmental Club at my high school, which has allowed me to start this composting program. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So a little bit about the program. It's a composting grant program through Blue Earth Composts, which is a company based out of Hartford. And they basically collect the compost and transport it to Quantum Biopower and among other facilities, which they Quantum is the facility that like digests the compost and turns it into energy. So that's where the compost goes. And Blue Earth Compost basically reached out to my environmental club advisor and invited us to join this pilot program, which they're working on expanding. And it is composed of three components. So composting, food recovery, and environmental classroom activities. And we chose to only focus on composting because we would like to do all three, but it's a lot to take on. And we wanted to do one effectively. And we thought composting would make the most impact. And also, the first 3 semesters of the pilot program are a grant, which means we don't have to pay. So that is super awesome. So, some first steps for getting this program going. So, like I said before, in the spring, like the end of the school year of last year's school year, Blue Earth Compost reached out to us and about the program. And then at the end of the summer before this school year, so summer 2023, I reached out to my school's principal, and he was super supportive, but he wasn't really the one handling it. So he directed me to the dean of students at Trumbull High, and um, I really had to be persistent with him and continue to reach out to him about it to get it going because he just really wanted to make sure that everyone was on board and um, we just really had to like update him with what our plan was. I think he just wanted to make sure we had a plan, so it took a lot of persistence with him, and we were also in contact with Blue Earth a lot to schedule the days and the frequency of the pickups, and so we kind of had to just relay what Blue Earth was telling us to the dean of students. We also had a liaison from Blue Earth come in during one of our environmental club meetings to kind of help those who are not familiar with composting and explain like what can and can't be composted. So that was really helpful to have her come in and help us. And then finally, I was able to organize a meeting with all the necessary stakeholders. So that included my dean of students at Trumbull High, the Trumbull High head of food service, the town of Trumbull head of food service, the head custodian at Trumbull High, and then, of course, myself and my environmental club advisor. And that meeting was really where we got it officially approved and everyone was able to understand the program and be on board. Um, so then implementation, we, at the end of the first semester, December, we officially started the program. Um, and we started off doing it only once a week, just to, see how it goes. And then in the second semester, we amped it up to every day. So Blue Earth only came to pick it up on Thursdays. So you can see on the bottom left here, the truck that would come pick it up. And on the top right picture, you can see those are all the Blue Earth bins that they gave us. So as you can see, we had quite a few bins and we didn't use them all up. So um, even though they only collected it on one day out of the week, we had enough to work with where we wouldn't run out of space in the bins. So that was good. Um, and so we only did it in the senior lounge. So at Trumbull High, we have like a main cafeteria and then a smaller like senior lounge area. And we pretty much, we only did it in the senior lounge. And then, so how it works is basically we have 3 lunch waves at Trumbull High. So the first lunch wave, um, myself or another environmental club leader, or really whoever was helping us out that day, would open the top right photo. That's where all the bins are, and so that there's a door like literally right near that leads directly to the senior lounge. So someone would drag in 2 of the bins and then set up the table for the beginning of the first lunch wave, and then kids will just bring up their trays, as you can see in the also the top right picture. People just bring their trays up, and then we have student volunteers who sort it. We put the compostable stuff in the Blue Earth bins, and then the non-compostable in the trash cans. So you can see in the bottom middle photo, that's basically our station. So we have the tables, and then the taller blue bins are the Blue Earth ones, and then the regular trash cans. So we mostly had volunteers from our club, our environmental club, but we also collaborated with the National Honor Society and the Science Honor Society to get volunteers. So students who needed service hours for those societies could sort to get hours, which gave us a lot of volunteers. So that was really helpful. So yeah, that's basically how the program worked. So I wanted to talk a little bit about troubleshooting. There was a lot of issues with this program and stuff, but and there's definitely still room for more troubleshooting. But anyway, a lot of these issues really tie into one another. So first off, the task of sorting. So Quantum, where they digest the compost, the facility, they cannot take contaminated waste. So we originally were told by Blue Earth that we could just set up the bins, a bunch of Blue Earth bins, basically replace the trash cans with Blue Earth bins and have kids just throw in everything, non-compostable included. But then we were basically told that that was a no-go, like right after that. So I don't know where the confusion was there, but because Quantum ultimately doesn't have the sorting capacity like we thought it did to separate the compostable from the non-compostable items. So it means that we had to have sorters there to ensure that everything that goes into the Blue Earth bins are compostable. And so student apathy, unfortunately, students are just not really as enthusiastic as we hoped. And while they may bring up their trays to the table, we don't really trust everyone to sort properly just because people might, throw their plastic forks in there because either they forgot or they didn't know, or maybe they just didn't even care. So it's just like we would rather have students um, sort for everyone else, like a small group who actually know what's going on. Um, so originally we had our table set up in the corner of our senior lounge, and we had all the normal trash cans scattered throughout the lounge, and we found that immediately didn't work because kids just put it right in the nearest trash can out of convenience. And maybe this was the first few days of the program, so maybe people also just weren't oriented with the program yet. They didn't really know to bring it up to our composting table, but we found that once we moved the table to the front middle of the senior lounge, which was facing the lunch tables, people would walk up and bring their trays to us. And we also removed most of the trash cans from the senior lounge area. And then with the remaining ones, maybe like 6 or 7 we would push them like directly surrounding our table. So that way, the only option is to come right to our table. There's no other convenient way. You have to come up. So, um, however, people still just left their trays right on their tables, which led to more cleanup for us. Like at the end of each lunch wave, um, we would call it like sweeping the area. So we would just go around the senior lounge room and take whoever left their tray on their table because they just didn't feel like walking up to the table, which is yeah, a little bit annoying, but it's okay. Um and then sometimes at the beginning of the first lunch wave, if whoever's setting up forgets to move all the trash cans right near our table, um, kids will just throw it right in the nearest trash can again. Like even now that they're used to the program, they still, if the trash cans are out there and it's nearest to them, they'll go right to that. So it's a little bit disheartening to see the apathy that's there, but it's definitely not something to ignore when thinking about a program like this. And it was definitely a learning curve for us. So and because of that, we have to have volunteers manning the tables to sort, like I was saying, which created another problem, which is recruiting volunteers. And so, after the honor societies that we collaborated with had their service hour deadlines, they didn't need hours anymore. So, we kind of lost a lot of volunteers. And we did have a steady group, like, 1, 2, or 3, like each lunch wave. And we also have like different days at Trumbull High, so I know that's confusing, but we had like at least someone covered each lunch wave, so that was good, and I'm really grateful to those people who helped that program together. But it was again disheartening to see how many people didn't want to help us out. I mean, yeah. So also Trumbull High is a really big school, one of the largest in the state. So I know it might be hard to picture our lunchroom format, but like I said, we have like the main caf, which is pretty giant, and then a smaller senior lounge, but it's still decently sized. It's not, tiny. Um, expand the program to the main caf after piloting in the senior lounge, but we found that it just probably wouldn't have been possible without the volunteers necessary to sort everything. There's just no way we would have had enough volunteers to operate in the main caf. So all in all, with all that said, I don't want to be, Debbie Downer. I'm really, really happy we got this the ball rolling on this program. I'm also really grateful for the volunteers we did have at the end who really held the program together, and small but mighty. It was really really great, and we did continue despite all these different setbacks. We readjusted, we troubleshooted. So yeah, I mean, it was our first semester, so we were just learning as we're going, and it'll only make us better. So, and we're still diverting waste, so it's really, really great. Um, and so Blue Earth sent us the graphic on the right, and it shows that we have diverted 2,815 pounds of waste from the trash, which is really, really cool to see what we've accomplished. And probably even more than that, actually, because that graphic was taken like before school ended. So I think we still had like a few weeks or a month after that graphic. So probably even more waste was diverted, which is really, really cool. Um, and we still have 2 semesters left in the grant program. So 2 more semesters where we don't have to pay. So I'm confident that, because 2 semesters will be a full year. So confident that next year the program will definitely be a go. I'm confident that my that environmental club leadership and my club advisor will, continue it through the next year. After that, I'm not sure. Without the I'm not sure like what the possibilities or options are for funding, but I'm hopeful that we will be able to continue this program for and continue to expand it as much as we can. Also, there is legislation in the works for a that will require schools to compost. So, if we do continue this program longer than the grant is extends for, that will make us ahead of the game, and it'll also just provide further incentive for us and other schools in Connecticut to continue or start up programs like this because it will be required by law. So that would be really great. Um, and yeah, so just a last message is be the change you want to see in the world. I feel like that really sums up the program. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, Brianna, thank you so much for sharing your story and kind of the trials and tribulations. And I also will say that apathy is an issue with adults and students. And so, really, education is the key. And so, I hope that
Mhm.
your students who are taking over kind of continue to look into the education of students and how that can help and or look at different ways too because they have a whole full year to look at how to change things or do things differently so yes so we'll just say thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, thank you so much. I just want to say also about like the education. Like I said before, they have that education component of the program.
Mm,
So I feel like maybe if we had utilized that more, that would have maybe helped because students would know more. So that's something they can always look into for next year.
yes, so stay tuned to
Yeah.
hear how Trumbull High School goes so we'll end there.
Yeah. Thank you so much.